welcome to AMC Movie Talk. That's movie talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today, we've got AMC Movie News editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hello, lovely film fans. We are back in the in-stream studio joining you for our first official show of 2014. It is lovely to be here. I'm a little under the weather, so please forgive me, but it feels really good to reunite anyway.
Also here, writer-director John Schnepp.
Hey, what's going on? It's 2014. It's the first AMC movie talk of the year. What's going on? Dennis and Aaron and John Campea are still, what's going on there? Are over. They're in Las Vegas for the awards show tonight. AMC Movie Talk is up for Best Show of the Year. Hopefully we win. So.
Whoop whoop. And we've also got a special guest today, senior editor of Rotten Tomatoes, Miss Grae Drake.
Hey everybody, it's good to be back. It's been forever. However, I was really touched by everybody's interaction on Twitter from this fantastic marathon that you guys just completed. I think that you're all insane people, that you have been doing that and then in Vegas, but my hat is off to you, and thanks for everybody
it was so amazing.
Thanks for everybody that tweets us in the Twitterverse.
Before we jump into the topics, I do want to just give my love and appreciation for that. We raised over $25,000 in 24 hours. With all your support, we had some amazing familiar faces like these lovely two sitting next to me and the whole AMC Movie News crew, and it just, you know, it was just incredible that we can all band together for something, such a worthy, amazing cause, and we're going to be trying to do a lot more of that. So thanks again for all your support and your love. We literally could not have done it without you. And as the Schneppinator mentioned, John Campea and crew are representing in Vegas tonight. We're actually going to include a link to the live stream of the IAW TV Awards, and hopefully we win, and thanks again for all your support as well. Now to the movie news.
Now that we are officially in 2014, we look back on the jam-packed year of film that 2013 was. From inspiring and heartbreaking true stories to 70s con artists to new Disney princesses, it had a little bit of something for everyone. Amy Rose, what did you think of 2013 as a year for film overall, and what were some of your highlights?
First of all, that is rather impressive.
Right?
Shout out to Dennis, my main man. Rather impressive, and it really was such an incredible year for film. I just feel so privileged and blessed to be a part of a year, especially that has been so strong. I mean, the thing that I've kind of noticed about most of the films, from Fruitvale Station to Inside Llewyn Davis to Blue is the Warmest Color. I mean, there's so many films on and on and on. Out of the Furnace. Look at all these films that are just, these characters are really beautiful and relatable and flawed. They're not perfect, and they've been through a lot of tragedy, and there's so many inspiring performances, from Chiwetel Ejiofor and 12 Years a Slave to, I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. I have my little list here, and I'm just like, it's just unbelievable. Matthew McConaughey from Mud to Dallas Buyers Club.
You guys were deep in the McConaissance. Deep
even
in it.
His little role, in Wolf of Wall Street, I wanted more of him.
Matthew McConaughey. Oh my God. McConaughey winning 75 awards.
He deserves it. Like,
he deserves it.
I wish that he would be getting more recognition, because he's been in, what is it, like 3 fantastic movies this year?
Now he's in an HBO series.
Yeah, True Detective was amazing.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, come on, that's too incredible.
Yeah,
right.
But no, truly, and like these films, like we dealt with so many different subject matters. Yes, we had the Disney princesses. American Hustle was great. I mean, I just feel like this film was packed with so much heart and so many, historical films that's my weakness right there.
A lit candle in Leonardo DiCaprio's butt.
I mean,
who would have thought of seeing that in 2013?
That's Christmas, right
and
there.
we're live.
Yeah. I have to give a shout to one of my favorite small movies of the year, which is Short Term 12. Brie Larson is in this one, and she was also in another phenomenal movie called The Spectacular Now.
I loved that movie.
It's so good, and she's such a chameleon, and she's such a cool individual. Like, carries around a notebook that has like notes about DNA in it when she was on set learning something for a role. She's a cool chick, and it really translates into her roles. That movie was extraordinary. It's on DVD. I'm so sad that it's not getting more recognition, but it's got a couple nominations, but that's the one that this year just was.
I'm really glad you brought up Spectacular Now, because I feel like a lot of people still haven't seen that, and there were so many incredible coming-of-age stories. The Kings of Summer, Spectacular Now, The Way, Way Back.
Yeah.
Again, with a lot of heart and these performances. Sam Rockwell in The Way, Way Back. So yeah, what were some of the films that stood out to you?
Well, there was a small movie that it was like just 2 people were in it. It was called Gravity. And, I love Gravity, and it was like one of those films that I'd been waiting for years because I'd heard about it, and then it was like, we're pushing it off from 2012 to 2013, and when you hear about that, you're like, I gotta wait a year, and now it's already in the past. So, come on, whatever's coming in 2015, it's gonna just happen. We don't have to even talk about it.
And Alfonso Cuarón just getting a Directors Guild nomination.
Yeah,
he
totally deserves it. Yeah.
I think Gravity has a shot. With all the extraordinary films that have come out and that are going to get nominations for the Oscars, I think Gravity really has a shot at taking it.
You think?
It's just so extraordinary. There's nothing like it. And even against another fantastic film like 12 Years a Slave, I think that movie works on so many different levels and is so impressive and so memorable in a unique way that it just might do it.
It really is like a true cinematic experience. Like, you have to see that in the theater, you have to see it on IMAX. Like, I remember the first scene that hit, I had butterflies, a little bit of tension in my stomach. I was like, I'm in space, yo, officially.
And do you know what Gravity did for me personally? Every time that Sandra Bullock pulls out instructions to operate the little shuttle, I was like, that ain't nothing but IKEA instructions. I could put together a shelf.
So are you gonna be an astronaut now? Is that your?
I totally could be.
Yeah, the food's not that good in space. It's these little weird crunchy tablets and stuff that you have to squeeze into your mouth.
No, actually, that's what they feed Hollywood starlets too.
Yeah, you don't win either way.
Obviously, that's what they've been feeding Matthew McConaughey for his incredible weight loss strategy.
Right.
So, and Jared Leto, can we talk about him in that film?
Yeah.
So obviously, we have been pretty captivated by this year in film. And
we could do a whole show.
We literally could.
Yeah, we didn't mention Thor: The Dark World, which I was really. It was so fun.
It was great.
It
Man
was
of
a really
Steel
fun film.
was incredible. Hunger Games was incredible.
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring was so fun.
Incredible horror film.
Yeah.
I saw that twice in the theater.
Insidious 2 was super weird, which I'm into.
I saw The Conjuring with cocktails, sitting next to an incredibly fabulous man who, during the first shot of the film, which is the doll face, he screamed, and I looked at him and I was like, buckle up, honey. This is the first shot of the film.
You're going to see somebody shaking in a floating chair, and,
Oh my God.
that freaked me out with the blood. It was like, that was sorry if I'm spoiling stuff. The movie came out 8 months ago. See it.
See it, it's on
fair
DVD.
Game. It's fair game. Okay. Well, we'll reel it in.
Star Trek Into Darkness?
Yeah.
There's too many movies.
Well, you know,
There's too many good ones.
The Conjuring, directed by James Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's the man.
Who's got a really important movie coming up.
Which is a really good transition to our next topic, Mix Ashley.
After the tragic death of Paul Walker, the production of Fast and Furious 7 came to a halt, while the players involved decided how to proceed with his character. Now the final verdict has been reached. The footage that Walker has already shot will be used with script changes, and his character will be retiring in some way. Schnepp, do you think this was the right strategy for Walker's Brian O'Connor character?
Without a doubt. I mean, after the tragic news broke and we all talked about it for a little bit, the following week, I was the one who was kind of saying, I hope they do use the footage and don't just start over from scratch, because similar to Brandon Lee and The Crow, this is the best way to honor someone, I think. If you've already got so much footage in the can and it's great and it's a family team effort of what they've been doing with this franchise. So I'm really happy that they are going to be using the footage and finding out a way to have him exit the series in a cool way. So
I completely agree. I think this is the classiest way to honor, the legacy that he's put into this franchise, and give him the happily ever after that he's not going to have. You know, and it's such a sensitive way. Like, no matter what they were going to do, wasn't going to please everyone because of the way he tragically passed.
This is a losing battle. This was the worst. Not only is it a terrible thing to have happen, it's a terrible thing to have happen to an incredible franchise that has given me so much joy. Like the fact that he passed right in the middle. There's nothing, this is the losing battle. There's nothing they could really do.
And the films just keep getting better and better. So I feel like they're really at the height of their game. And having James Wan come in there with a new fresh take on the franchise after Justin Lin did such a great job. I mean, it's tough.
I anticipate this not being a satisfying beat in the movie regardless.
Right.
Because if, okay, he's retiring, that's lame. And the way that the Fast and the Furious movies go, at the end, he would come out of retirement or he would like be back somehow. That's how those movies work. However, I mean, we're all ready to give this movie a break.
Yeah.
Sure. They could restructure it, and the footage that they shot already is now the new ending, or, you know.
Right.
We don't know, but I think it's a great way to honor him. So.
It
Yeah,
really
without
is.
totally jumping the shark and making it like a supernatural thriller with
Yeah.
Paul.
Plus, just imagine the entire crew. I mean, what they have to go through just to restart. I think this gives everyone the impetus. Like, we're going to make this a special movie. I mean,
Yeah.
Vin Diesel's friendship. You know, it's like.
Yeah.
What about jumping the shark? What if they completely turn this into a ridiculous Jason Goes to Space thing and honor Paul Walker by
James
turning him
Wan.
into a robot?
I don't think that's going to happen, Grae.
But if anyone could do it, it would be James Wan. So
He can do anything.
yeah, I do think this is the classy approach, and I think it would have been really weird to put a new actor in there.
Couldn't do that.
Or just reshoot it. Yeah, he's in Hawaii. He's not in
Nope,
this
nope,
one.
you
So
can't.
this is the smartest way to do it and the best way.
He built this franchise. He's
Yep.
part of it. Like
He is.
and the franchise, as Vin Diesel always reminds us, is about family.
Yeah.
So you
Good
can't.
voice, girl.
Thanks. You know, it's early in the morning here. It has to be that way.
Yeah.
He has to be in it.
Yeah.
And they have to send him love.
You will be missed, Paul. We're happy that we're gonna see you one more time on the big screen.
And buy that DVD, by the way, because proceeds of the Furious 6 go to his charity. So go and buy it if you haven't.
So amazing. He really
good
is such
idea.
an incredible person. All right, my friends, we have now reached the buy or sell portion of our show. For those less familiar with this, Miss Ashley's simply going to read a couple other items going on in the world of movie news, and my lovely table of panelists and I are simply going to say if we buy or sell it. What you got, lady?
Warner Brothers has unveiled the first official still of Channing Tatum from the new Wachowski film Jupiter Ascending. The film also stars Mila Kunis as the title character who is targeted for assassination by the Queen of the Universe because her very existence threatens to end the Queen's reign. Grae, buy or sell this first image for Jupiter Ascending?
Well, listen, I buy that image because that reminds me of RuPaul. As the Queen of the Universe, that's what that reminds me of. Now, are we going to bring up another
The
image?
Channing Tatum image, who looks a
Because
bit...
I was really, look at what's happening with my hair? I just looked at
You know that image that's on the screen right now reminds me of Dune, where he's like, "Come on, everybody! I am the Quetzalcoatl Cataract," and it starts raining, and there's all these people waiting for it to rain. They've been in a desert for like 6,000 years.
This
But you
plot
saw
sounds...
the new image, though, right? Of Channing.
The new image
Like
of
the-
Channing Tatum, which maybe a little bit reminds me of Dennis Rodman at his height, like a white Dennis Rodman.
Oh my
It's-
God, yeah.
It's like a little, it's a little bit much. However, here's what I love. I love Mila Kunis. I love Channing Tatum. I love the Wachowski siblings. So I'm willing to wade through this darkness of like, what's that plot all about, guys? What are you doing this time? But they're some of the most interesting filmmakers in Hollywood.
So are you leaving or keeping the image?
I buy it. I buy that.
no.
I buy this one. I buy Channing Tatum looking like he's strangling a weird peacock, jumping in the air, looking like Dennis Rodman. I buy it.
Half albino Channing Tatum for the win. What about you?
I'm gonna sell this image just because I sold the trailer as well. I'm gonna have to.
Consistency.
I have to wait until I see something that doesn't remind me of The Matrix. Meets some kind of Star Wars, like, there shall be the prophet and the stars will align and then your weird DNA will release the universe. Or it just, it didn't sound appealing to me when I read the synopsis, saw the trailer. It just, don't get me wrong, Cloud Atlas, 2 of the 5 segments I absolutely loved, and they were the science fiction, futuristic segments. And the Wachowski siblings, I love those guys. I'll always love The Matrix. I'll always love Bound. Some of the other films, not so much. But, filmmakers come and go. You get good ones, you get bad ones. It's not, I'm hoping that this hits it out of the park because I love science fiction and they have a special way of telling stories.
Yeah.
So, but so far,
You don't like what you're
Channing
saying.
Tatum as a weird elf jumping around. Mila Kunis as Jupiter Jones. Like, hey, can't wait for my astrology, class.
So what you're saying is this latest film from the Wachowski siblings looks like RuPaul jumping around with Legolas.
I don't even mind if
Which
it's
sounds
that. That
epic.
sounds awesome.
That's why I'm buying it,
I'm
because all of this sounds maybe the slightest bit campy to me.
Yeah.
So maybe this is going to be the greatest so bad it's good movie of all time.
I mean, I'm also going to sell the image because, the Hobbit albino Channing Tatum doesn't really have me hooked just yet. But I do have faith in the Wachowski siblings. I do think atmospherically, it just looks so cool. They're so good at sci-fi. And if it's Matrix Star Wars, I'm in, Schnepp. So that gives me even more faith.
Yeah, I don't want to be a hater. It could be awesome. And some of the behind-the-scenes photos of some of the characters and their weird outfits, I was super intrigued. And I didn't see that in the trailer yet. But it's there was 3 guys with weird shaved heads and bizarre tattoos, all in white. I was like, who are those freaks?
Yeah.
Can't wait to see
I
that.
love those freaks.
Yeah,
I'm into
when's
it.
that in the trailer? So, I could flip around 180.
So you're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
We're a little more hopeful.
Yeah, I'm
I like
crawling
it.
sideways.
All right, what's next?
The first still has been released of Melissa McCarthy and Susan Sarandon in Tammy. McCarthy co-wrote the comedy with her husband, Ben Falcone, who is also making his directorial debut. The film centers on Tammy McCarthy, who after losing her job and learning that her husband has been unfaithful, hits the road with her profane, hard-drinking grandmother. Amy Rose, buy or sell this first image of Tammy?
I could not buy this more enthusiastically. I think the comedic duo of these two is going to be absolutely brilliant. I'm really excited to see what McCarthy and her husband do in terms of behind the lens and also writing the script. And Susan Sarandon as the foul-mouthed drinking grandmother is going to be epic. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be really fun.
World's hottest gilf.
Yes, no question.
Holy smokes, this woman. And I would like to point out in that image, how fabulously her hand is angled.
Right?
She's
Yeah,
pretty
right?
hands.
And the deer in headlights look is pretty
It's
awesome.
great. I really buy anything that Melissa McCarthy's involved in for sure. I mean, and Susan Sarandon as this
good.
grandma.
Yep.
I really like this, and even though I don't think that every Melissa McCarthy comedy is a hit,
Agreed.
sometimes she misses, but I like to watch the miss more than other terrible films.
It's still enjoyable. It's an
Yeah.
enjoyable miss.
Yeah. Yeah, her personality is always such a winning stroke. I mean, I love the Heat. So and
Me
and
too.
Susan Sarandon is so great. I always think of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
Forever with Susan Sarandon
Forever.
and all the other movies that she's been in, but
that one.
I'm a little irked that she's the grandmother. She should just be her mom. Because I don't
Right.
see her as that old,
Hell,
It's
heck no.
yeah, so she's definitely an awesome G-MILF. That's all I'd say. But
Yeah.
you know what? I can't wait to see how this is going to play out because I love that Robert Downey Jr., Zach Galifianakis Due Date or Road Date or whatever was that?
Due Date.
It was
Yeah.
Due Date, right.
Yeah.
That
Road
movie,
Date.
I saw it on the plane because I was like, I don't want to see it. For some reason, I didn't like the trailers or whatever, and I didn't see it. And then I was like that person laughing on the plane that you're like, would you please shut up, sir? Because I was like, yeah! Because I had the
Your laugh
headphones
is
on.
good. I don't think anyone would tell you to shut
Yeah,
up.
no one told me to shut up.
Really good plain movie, you're right.
It was. It
Yeah.
was so much fun. So I'm hoping this has that same energy.
It was odd, too. The first time I watched it, I was like, huh. And then I watched it again, I was like, okay, this is a little more dry comedy.
Yes.
That I liked it.
Yeah.
If there is a nod to Thelma and Louise at any point in this film,
Yeah.
then it is
Better
going
be.
to be the greatest comedy of
Yeah.
2014.
Oh my! If they go off a cliff and then somehow just survive, just
or
land. Yeah.
if Grandpa Brad Pitt shows up.
Oh my God.
What?
Whoa, that would be
Mind blown.
awesome.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Right. It would have to be Grandpa Brad Pitt. It's like, yes, a great-great-grandmother, Susan Sarandon. It's like, what? What? Is it 2014 or 2214? I don't even know where I am anymore.
And are they being arrested or something here because McCarthy's arms are left and Susan Sarandon's like, whatever.
Susan Sarandon's like, I'm armed and
I know, right?
fabulous.
Something happened. I
I'm
guess we're going to see it.
excited.
So yeah, we
Pretty
buy it,
hands.
right? I buy it.
Bye.
Bye all round. What's next, lady?
3 new electrifying international posters have been released for Mark Webb's upcoming Amazing Spider-Man 2. They feature our web-slinging superhero and, you guessed it, Jamie Foxx's Electro. Schnepp, buy or sell these new posters?
All right, I buy it with a caveat. I love the images, all 3 of them. I absolutely cannot stand that it's the same image of Electro, that some slappy guy
lazy.
just
Yep.
lazily
Yep.
photoshops. Look, you're doing all 3 of these different cool images. That middle one with Spider-Man all super skippy, jumped around, that's right out of a comic book. kind of ruined it a little bit for me, seeing the same image of Electro in all 3 of those posters. Because even if you're like, hey, it's from a different perspective from that same snap moment, whatever, it's still like kind of sloppy. So I still buy it just because that middle poster that we have right there, the one if you're seeing them individually, it's Spider-Man upside down in this super, classic Spider-Man pose.
Yeah.
I buy that poster. That's the one I would look at more than just the eyeball, which is reminiscent of the older Spider-Man ones. But I buy it. But just next time, don't get so sloppy. Get like 3 different poses of him when he's against the blue screen.
They need
that you have
pretend.
thousands of images that you can choose from with him in the hood. I've already seen like 100 just behind the scenes with the weird blue.
It's like pay your graphic designer 50 more bucks.
Yeah.
Like anything.
Just a
25 these days,
slightly
let's be
different
honest.
angle. That's all.
You're totally right, hands down. I looked at this poster with new eyes because of a YouTube video that I watched about what happened to movie posters. And it lays out all of the similar images that we see now that has gone so far away from actual art. It really made me think about how necessary a company like Mondo is for poster art, because the stuff they produce is so spectacular and it is so not these posters.
Right.
I thought these posters were very cool, and they actually made me really excited about a second movie that I'm kind of on the fence about. I just want to see something different than Spider-Man origin story. So the first redo of Spider-Man I couldn't love. This made me jazzed.
All right.
Bolt of electricity into my heart, loved it. But when you watch that video, you will see that there's a little bit of teal and a little bit of orange, similar to so many things, and it made me a little sad. It made me want to see the Mondo poster.
I was going to say, when you mentioned Mondo, Mondo is the new Drew Struzan.
Oh,
because Drew Struzan was a one-man army.
Yeah.
He did so many amazing posters.
Truly.
And now all we have is somebody's giant face or a series of people's faces next to a giant face. And that's pretty much usually what a movie poster is now, and some Photoshop. And or we have these bigger posters where everything is Photoshop. You're right. So it would be great to return to some anyone who's from Hollywood, get into Mondo, hire those guys to actually do your poster campaign.
I do know of a pretty good artist.
Hey, I could do your art too for real.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
speaking of, just as an aside note, I am all the people who contributed for the Philippines, where I auctioned off 15 drawings, I'm gonna get on them. I've just been super busy. Right after the telethon, the raising the money, we went to Vegas for this new
What
media
happened
expo.
in Vegas?
Oh, excuses,
In
Schnepp.
Vegas, I played a little craps. That Amy Rose taught me how to play craps, and craps is fun.
Craps is fun.
Yeah, so that's all I can say about that.
So back to Spidey, because we love him. I too will buy the posters. I like the middle one the best as well. And I agree, they got a little lazy with Electro, and it also makes me wonder, is the hooded outfit just going to be his costume, or is it going to have one at all? Or are they saving that, to give a little secret under wraps?
They released some of those photos of him in a more contained outfit in some of the
Very
photos.
contained still. I'm wondering if it's going to go a little more
he doesn't
extreme
have
at
the
all.
hoodie anymore. He has a kind of a weird
It's like a Man of Steel suit
it's
almost.
almost like a Iron Man suit.
It really
where his head he's just got a big blue head.
I wanted ultimate Electro, personally.
It very much accentuates the buttocks.
Oh.
I noticed.
I didn't notice that part. But.
But yeah, I agree. It literally is the same exact. They didn't even try to pretend. At least they flipped Spider-Man in different directions, but they didn't even try to pretend. But I still think it gives us what we're trying to achieve.
Plus, on top
here.
of that, in Times Square, they were like, hey, we also have the same exact angle of his face on the video screen in the poster of Electro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I think it's going to be good, though. Everything I've seen about this
Still
film, I'm
buying
pretty
it.
excited.
It's
Still buying
fine.
it.
It's fine.
What's last but not least?
William Hurt is set to play musician Greg Allman in a new biopic titled Midnight Rider. The project, which is an adaptation of Greg Allman's memoir, My Cross to Bear, will also showcase Tyson Ritter, the lead singer/writer of the All-American Rejects, as young Greg, as well as Wyatt Russell, who will be portraying Dwayne Allman. Grae, buy or sell Hurt starring in this Allman Brothers biopic?
I buy William Hurt starring in anything.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that face that he is making, because he looks like he's ready to drop some biopic knowledge on all of us.
And I'm ready for that.
The thing, whatever comes out of his mouth the second after this photo happens in the movie is going to be genius.
Yeah, I also buy it. I'm really excited about this. I've expressed many times what a big, music lover I am, and the Allman Brothers are so classic. I definitely grew up on their amazing melodies, and they do have a very interesting backstory. And as you said, William Hurt is just sensational, and I actually could see him in this role, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to take it.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I mean, the pic that you see there is a little grumpy cat for me, you know? It's like, what just happened to him 5 seconds ago? At least it's not a body heat photo. It's like, hey, let's get a little, so this is more current William Hurt. But yeah, I buy it. And he's a great actor, so
Yeah.
he could definitely play Greg Allman. I don't know if they're going to rock the Sonny and Cher, Greg Allman takeover thing, or you know, or if this is like happening now, or you know.
I doubt it.
One of our producers was telling me about all the horrible motorcycle accidents that happened to like half the Allman Bros, half of their entire band all died in horrible crashes. So.
It's gonna be backlogged because they have the All-American Rejects like singer playing the younger Allman, so I'm sure we'll go back and forth.
Okay.
But yeah, they do have a lot of really interesting and crazy stories like that, so I hope they show it all. And Midnight Rider, such a good song, so I'm glad that's what it's called. All right, we have now reached the mailbag portion. Miss Ashley has a couple, couldn't get that one out. Miss Ashley has a couple other user-submitted questions picked out, and we're simply going to give you our 2 cents on the matter. What you got, lady?
Kyle Grimes writes, "Hey guys, love the show. I'm somewhat of a new follower, so I hope this question hasn't been tackled. I'm a huge Tarantino fan. It's been over a year since Django's release, and I still see nothing on his Tarantino's horizon. Is Kill Bill Volume 3 out of the question? There was a teaser screenplay released 3 years ago, and honestly, it sounded amazing. What are your thoughts on Tarantino's future and the future of the Kill Bill franchise?"
Oh, Kyle, you're gonna be so sad.
Go ahead, Grae, break his heart.
Kyle.
Go ahead.
Tarantino says he's not doing it, and he's gonna do a Western next because he loved
Another
doing
Western.
Django so much. And he says that he's not averse to any genre. He'd go back to any of them, even amidst all those retirement rumors.
Well, every director says that. And we're like, okay. But yeah, I too read the
I don't
same
know.
interview.
That guy that directed the Resident Evil movies doesn't talk about retiring.
No, nor should he.
Nor should he.
I want more Resident Evils.
You'll probably get that.
I want at least 11.
More Mila Jovovich wearing
Yes.
a napkin. See,
Yeah.
that guy does not talk about Paul
And there's
W.S.
nothing
Anderson.
wrong with me
because no one's listening to him. But yes, I too have heard the same thing, and I'm really happy that he's continuing in the spaghetti western realm because I mean, I'm a huge Tarantino fan myself as well. Pulp Fiction remains one of my favorite films of all time just because of how ahead of everything that it was at the time, and like, I just feel like his filmmaking has evolved but stayed so true to his vision and his style, and I loved Django, I loved Inglourious Basterds, like every film of his in the last coming years, but you can't rush greatness, and he's certainly that, but he did say in an interview he was going to explore another spaghetti western, and that this was probably not going to happen. But Uma Thurman is one of the best, most badass female protagonists in film right there, you see her.
Right.
Well, and a revenge movie too that would be so great with the kids.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
So
kid revenge is
yeah.
the best
I love
kind.
kid
Love it.
revenge
I'm coming back
stories.
for you, The Bride 2 or
Best
whatever.
served cold, like your cereal.
And I actually really liked the second film too. I still like the first one more, but most of the time it kind of goes downhill a little bit, and I still thought it was pretty
Why don't
solid.
we see the Japanese cut that has both of them edited together? So it's just, there's not a Kill Bill Volume 1 or 2, it's just Kill Bill. And it's like 3.5 hours. It exists, you guys can see it. It's out there. It's just, I haven't seen it yet, so.
Which isn't even long for the way cinema runs
Right.
these days. All these films
Nothing.
are 3 hours this year.
3.5 hours. Sandwich, done. Breakfast. Yeah, where's the next one?
Fun fact, Greg Nicotero has Steve Buscemi's ear from Reservoir Dogs in his
Stop
home
it.
that he keeps under glass,
Stop
Wow,
it.
that's awesome.
right?
So
He
at
has a whole
night he
bunch-
like licks it and then puts it back into the glass.
Anybody who has the opportunity to nibble on Steve Buscemi's ear at night.
That's right.
should
It's
do it.
It's
I'm in.
only Greg gets to nibble on the ear.
Did you learn that at one of your holiday parties recently?
This is the best season ever
Yeah.
because we've worked and we've toiled and we've slaved away, talking about movies, and it's the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
And now we get to open bars everywhere, free alcohol, and what happens here is that when a star is particularly passionate about a movie, they'll host a party and they'll invite people who are voting in one of the awards. The other day, I went to one for The Butler, which is a movie I really believe in.
Wonderful movie.
I really want Oprah to get a supporting actress
She was
nomination.
incredible in that.
Yeah. So Sharon Stone hosted it. And I was like, you can bet your boots I'm going to go hang out with Sharon Stone. And ended up talking to her for a long time. And she was like, oh my God, we're kindred spirits. My shoes match your hair. And I was like, wow, let's take a photo. And I kind of bent down awkwardly towards her feet. And she goes, no need. And lifts her foot up.
Woo!
Onto my shoulder effortlessly out of nowhere. And I was like, Steve, get the camera, get the camera, get the camera. And the photo wouldn't take.
No.
And I kept telling her, I'm like, Sharon, do it again, do it again. And she's like, I didn't stretch. And finally she goes, after the third time of me asking her to do it, begging her to do it, she goes, Grae, you are an a-hole.
Yes.
And laughed and laughed and laughed. Because I was being an
She
a-hole.
went a little Basic Instinct on you, didn't she?
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Well,
All of her success makes perfect sense to
super
me now.
Pilates style, like extra limber, you know.
She's basically like a ninja with a cocktail in her hand. Oh, it was the best. It was incredible.
Guys, Tarantino, my opinion about it. I'm just going to say it really quick. Anything he does, I will see.
Yes.
So it's like, if he does like a spaghetti western, I know he has another sequel or a prequel for Inglourious Bastards he had talked about.
Which
He's
would
already
be
got that
awesome.
written. Anything he does, I'm into. I love his films.
course,
So, you know, and I think the Kill Bill 3 was like actually the daughter growing
It was
all
the
grown up.
daughters.
Right. So, yeah, daughter.
Who
so.
turns into another badass like her mama.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
pretty cool.
It was the kids fight. I mean, that's an amazing Tarantino concept.
You can do that in
Yeah.
10 years. I mean, great
Yeah.
directors never retire. They just die or don't get hired again. So if you can keep making cool movies, you
Yeah.
can do it. So.
And great characters.
And just to any director who's wondering what the secret is, put Mila Jovovich in a napkin.
Yeah, paper thin napkins with some leather strappings and whatnot.
That's
and
it.
have her jumping around with guns.
AMC Movie News exclusive.
All right, what's next?
Christian Fry writes, hey guys, love the show. Denzel Washington is one of the greatest actors out there, but I haven't seen him play in a superhero movie. I think he should play Lex Luthor if they will use Lex in the Superman vs. Batman movie. What are your thoughts?
This is a very interesting question. We've definitely talked a lot on the show about, you know, changing race and gender and all this, and I'm always for switching up race because it doesn't change the identity of the character. I don't feel the same way about sex because it does. It changes the energy, it changes everything about it. It does.
Interesting.
Yes, you like that? So Denzel Washington, he really is incredible, and I do think that what he embodies could be a good Lex Luthor. He's very intelligent, he's charming, you know, you could really see him calculating over the amount of time and just becoming, you know, the greatest foe that he's ever had, that Superman's ever had. So I really could see this, and I actually really like it, and I think adding, you know, the caliber just continues to climb and climb and climb for superhero films, so getting an actor like Denzel is not a far-fetched idea, and personally, I'd love to see it. It worked for Lawrence Fishburne, as, you know, taking over for Simmons, so personally, I think that, yeah, I would like to see this. What about you?
What do you think about, like, I'll just open it up, like,
Yeah.
because Campea mentioned a couple days ago, like, this was brought up and we talked about it. I thought him as Lex Luthor's an interesting idea. He's a great actor, but Campea said he's almost 60. So if he joins the franchise right now, and the way they do movies
match.
every 3 or 4 years, he'll be 70 by the time
Batman's
they get
41,
to the...
yo.
I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know if that matters that much, that he's almost, you know, by the time they get to like Superman 3, he'll be 70. I don't know if that matters as much, but, you know, it was interesting to think about because I didn't really think about it as far as age. He looks great for his age.
Well, Bryan Cranston, that same thing was brought up with him, too.
Well, yeah, and it seems more likely that Bryan Cranston is going to be Lex Luthor. But
You heard it here
as far as we know, we don't know who anyone's going to be. That's what we know. But
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be utterly and completely realistic about this, then yeah, that's probably true. He's probably going to age out of it. It doesn't quite match the timeline that they seem to set up in Man of Steel,
Right.
like actually. So, but
would you like to see it? Regardless of the time factor, as him as an actor, do you think he'd be a good Lex Luthor?
this is kind of another case similar to William Hurt, where I want to see Denzel in anything.
Yeah.
Right, he's
I
great.
always want to see him, and so this was a really interesting choice because Denzel has proven that he's just as good with good characters as he is with bad characters.
Oh, yeah.
So he would be really fun to watch because he always turns in a really nuanced performance.
yeah, like Two Guns was so much fun.
I
It
loved
was such
it.
a fun movie.
So
It
underrated.
was under the radar, and we went and saw it, and I had a blast. I loved it.
American Gangster.
Even Safe House.
Yeah.
Which I had some issues with as a film.
I had issues, but he just commands such a presence on screen too. I just love watching him.
Good stuff.
And also the rumor of him possibly playing Green Lantern. That's also the age thing got brought up. But it's sort of like, why not? I mean, if you're gonna have a grizzled Batman, you could also have like, and here's a Starfighter. You know, he's part of the Green Lantern Corps. He's the other dude. You know, whatever. It's like. You know, I don't know. I mean, he's a great actor, so. Another
question we got about Lex Luthor was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. People just seem to want to throw him in everything these days.
Wow.
Right.
Gosh, that's interesting. We haven't, I don't know, I can't remember a time where I've seen The Rock really be a straight up bad guy.
Yeah, I can't either.
I really like him. I love, you know, I love that smile. Love that smile.
He was great in Faster. He played more of a serious, like, anti-hero.
Yeah. I think he's a really solid actor, but is he...
Snitch.
Yeah, is he Lex Bryan Cranston material?
I still want Bryan Cranston, regardless of age. But yes, I do. I don't know if I see him in that, but I do want to see him as a superhero because he's kind of made for that. So.
Yeah, he's definitely, he could play Shazam, right? Why not?
Shazam!
Everyone keeps talking about him as Black Adam. It's like, why not just make him Shazam? Bam.
We need Shazam done right. All right, we've gone over time, so we're not going to take any questions today. But we had such a great time. Thank you so much for joining us. I would first like to thank the lovely pink-haired lady to my right, Miss Grae Drake, for joining us.
Yay!
Where can people find you?
My hair's the color of Sharon Stone's shoes. You can find me on Twitter, GraeDrake. And as always, thanks for all the love that I get on Twitter. And tell me what you think about the madness that we talked about today.
Whoop, whoop. The one and only John Schnepp. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter, just at John Schnepp. And just to clarify this whole Boba Fett thing that exploded over the interwebs, what I was saying, basically, like, really tired at 3:30 in the morning, is that Boba Fett is one of the spin-off movies. We know that Simon Kinberg and Lawrence Kasdan are writing those movies, and the other one's Han Solo. There, I said it. So they're both, those are the two movies. I didn't say Han Solo, and I felt like if everyone's going to talk about it, you might as well mention the other movie. And is it about the Kessel Run? I don't know. So.
Boom. All right. And I'd also like to thank the lovely Ashley Mova. Where can people find you, Ashley?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Ashley Mova.
All right. And I'm Amy Rose. You can find me. I know you can. I'm not even going to tell you how.
Dang, mysterious.
Whoa. Thanks again for joining us live. And we'll see you tomorrow. Be sure to share. If you want to continue support, share this on Facebook, Twitter, and follow us. Go see a movie. You know the drill. Thanks again. I'm Amy Rose with AMC Movie News. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget to check out the IAW TV Awards. And there's going to be a link in the live show. Go AMC Movie News.
Good luck, team. Yay, yay, yay.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.